Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for going to the police over a prank? Throw away for anonymity's sake in case this does go further. To preface this, I, 24F, am vegan and have been for a good 10 years. I have not eaten meat since I was roughly 3-4 years old when I found out where meat comes from. Spoiler alert, there were a lot of tears. This is no secret and everyone in my life knows and respects this, or so I thought. 4 nights ago, I was at a party and I will admit, I got white girl wasted. My friends thought it would be funny to feed me chicken nuggets as a prank. I checked with them before chowing down, are these vegan? To which my friends replied, yeah, they're Sunft, a type of vegan chickenless chicken. They tasted off to me but I figured it was just because I was drunk. I was wrong. I found out the next day when my sister sent me a message telling me to check my friend's Snapchat story. The story was them showing the nugget packaging and then showing them giving them to me, including the conversation where I asked if it was vegan. And then later them mocking me and pretending to be me when I found out I ate meat. Things like fake crying and yelling the chickens. I took a screen recording of the video and took it to the police on the grounds of food tampering, and now 3 of my ex-friends are facing charges. They all think that I'm overreacting to a harmless prank. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? In my view, they took advantage of my drunken state, tampered with my food, and publicly humiliated me. In their view, it was just a prank. NTA, I'm impressed and kinda think this is awesome. Edit, I think that it's awesome you went to the police and they're taking it seriously. Plus I'm pretty sure those aren't real friends if they did gave you knowingly meat and actually Snapchat it. So hopefully they will learn a lesson by this. SpongeBob taught me that pranks are for the enjoyment of the pranksters. They did it for themselves at the expense of their friend, making it even worse by mocking her and posting it Snapchat. This is an excellent description and explains why I don't find pranks funny. Pranks are funny equals only when the recipient has true laughter at their own expense. Part of a good prank is knowing who to prank and how far to go. Dumping water on an unsuspecting person in a busy town center? That's a-hole. Putting something on someone's laser mouse? That's funny, if it's the right person. NTA, as a chef, you never duck with someone food, ever. What kind of answers are these? Everyone sucks here. You're pressing charges over chicken nuggets. You have a moral stance against meat. That's fine. But it's not a life-threatening allergy. It's absolutely a shitty thing for them to do. They aren't friends. They should be ashamed. But pressing charges is just way too much. It's like if you tricked me into wearing a real fur hat when I'm morally against fur. So I called the FBI and told them you were a domestic terrorist. Edit. With some time. The hat example doesn't make sense. I just can't think of something that's the equivalent of a chicken nugget. A chicken nugget is so generally unegregious. It's hard to find comparisons that aren't dramatic in comparison. Like people have said, imagine being tricked into eating your own pet. Doesn't quite match up to me. But it is food tampering though. Edit. People have informed me that this isn't food tampering and I agree now, as food tampering is actually changing the food. This is just really shitty friends. Second edit. Okay, so the more I look at comments the more it seems like she is the a-hole, or at least partially in the wrong. Thanks for changing my viewpoint. I'll still try and answer all the comments. Everyone in this thread is saying food tampering is worthy of calling the cops. I think back to all the times my friends and I would add salt, hot sauce, whatever to each other's food when they weren't looking. Is it childish? Yes. Is it rude? Yes. Is it worth reporting your drunk friends to the cops? Absolutely not. Edit. Seems like everyone else is adding an edit and I didn't want to be left out. This is way different. She made the choice to not eat meat out of ethical reasons, because she thinks animals, living beings, shouldn't be eaten. Imagine someone made you eat dog meat, or cat meat, or the meat of any animal you think shouldn't be eaten. And if you are of the opinion all animals are fine to eat, imagine someone fed you human. It's not only about being physically fine. There is also such a thing as psychological damage. Edit. A lot of people in this thread seem to think being a vegan or vegetarian is on the same level as not liking ketchup. Oh, and BTW, I'm not a vegan or vegetarian. But you don't have to be in order to respect and understand other people's choices. Just because something is okay for you doesn't mean it is for other people. Am I the a-hole because I ate more than my share of a 6-foot party sub last night? What I thought would be a total non-issue has ballooned into a huge problem and I'm up at 7:05 am dealing with it. I figured while I wait for a text, I could post here to see if what I did was really that bad. I'm a big fat ass. There's no way around it. I love to eat, which probably borders on addiction, but I figure since I'm only hurting myself it's probably better to just live my life. I have some great friends, although there is no doubt I'm the harmless, funny token fat guy of the otherwise pretty good looking group. I guess that sets the stage enough. Last night my friend hosted UFC and I was invited. He got a 6-foot party sub. I also brought homemade wings that are sort of my specialty. Well, of course people flocked to the food and I had basically one serving of the sandwich, but people devoured my wings and I didn't get to have a single one. Which is totally fine, that's why I brought them, but maybe an hour later I was starving. I kept eyeing the sandwich and I'd say there was about 3 feet of it left. I waited an hour, then another half hour and no one had touched it, but they were still munching on chips, pretzels and whatnot, so I was like screw it. I took about half of what was left and ate it. Then the last half sat for another 10-15 minutes and no one said anything, so ate the rest. Well, to be sure, as I was swallowing the last bite the host's girlfriend asked where the sandwich was. Like I was the guilty party, pretty much everyone pointed at me. I guess they'd noticed me eating the sandwich. She was furious and said that I was an incredible pig and that I had been super selfish to eat 3 feet of a sandwich. I felt so bad. I tried to explain to her that I really did wait over an hour and thought people had lost interest. I also tried to explain how everyone had ate my wings and she said something along the lines of, "You brought them to share, Alan. If someone had eaten over half by themselves, that's not ducking sharing, is it?" I offered to order pizza or even go get Subways and she said that it was a pathetic offer because the party sub had been from a local shop owned by her friends. I said I was sorry, but the night was so tense from then on out. I woke up this morning to several texts from my twin sisters, the host's girlfriend's best friends, saying that I had to get my shit under control and that everyone is really mad at me and that I embarrassed myself last night. I tried to explain to them what my mindset had been and they haven't responded. Was I the a-hole for eating that much of the sandwich last night? Eat before you go to a party so you don't do that again. I'm also a heavy eater. I'd never even consider eating that much of something at a party or get together. Letting it sit for an hour doesn't mean anything. Others might have just been waiting to grab it after the fight. You said in a comment you polished it off during the fight. The wings prove the point. You were bummed that others ate all the wings and you didn't get a chance to have any. Just like the people complaining about the sandwich they brought. Others might have just been waiting to grab it after the fight. Yep, they were there for an event and were probably focused on that event. I have hosted Super Bowl parties where food goes untouched for hours before people get up to get more. Eating 3 to 4 feet of a sub is an a-hole move. That's more than having more than his share. We ordered a 6-foot sub last Friday because my son had about 20 to 25. I lost count. People over for his birthday party. Even the teens knew to supplement on watermelon and potato chips after they had some of the sub. I have seen some of them eat before and have no doubt a few could have demolished the sub by themselves, but they didn't, even though there was a foot or so sitting around while they swam, played basketball, and jumped on the trampoline. If someone had eaten over half by themselves, that's not ducking sharing, is it? She has a good point. You ate a ridiculous amount of food. It sounds like this is an ongoing problem based on your sister's response. They probably expected it to happen too. Nobody responded when he asked if he could have the sandwich, but they all turned to him when the sister asked who ate it. It's like, why bother saying yes or no? He's gonna devour that whole thing. Edit. Just for the 20th person replying that he didn't ask. OP claimed he did in the comments, but also acknowledged nobody heard him, so IDK. You have to have a serious problem if you don't think there's a problem with eating 3 feet of anything. That isn't even your own food. That's stomach tearing amounts of food. And to even suggest getting more food after that is just alarming. For giving a woman a taste of her own behavior. I'm sitting at the airport and this older lady sat down right next to me and took her iPad out and starts watching a show quite loud. To me this is a foul in public, however I just ignored it and put my earbuds in. After a while I made a phone call using my earbuds. Literally 30 seconds into my call she interrupts me and asks me to quit being rude and talk quietly so she can hear her show. I was as polite as I could and said that not only herself but everyone for about 10 feet and I could hear her show word for word and that making a phone call isn't rude but watching a show on your device full volume in a public waiting area is actually very rude and that is why people use headphones. She said she has every right to enjoy her show without being interrupted by a rude and selfish phone call or having to use headphones. I said she was absolutely right and I am completely wrong. Please enjoy your show while we wait for the plane and I will do the same. I then proceeded to take out my iPad and open Ice Cube's Good Cop Bad Cop music video and play it full volume on my device without my earbuds. I have never seen someone storm off so mad. Quick edit. I turned the music video off almost immediately after she left. Bro, you made it to the end? You're a ducking mad lad. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.